If you've produced any online events, you've probably noticed that the buying pattern for customers is quite different from the buying pattern for in-person events. And it's really important to understand this and to understand how to deal with it. To help with that, we want to share some data from the more than 2,000 shows that have appeared on Stellar in the last several months because the patterns are pretty useful to see. Well, let's start with all events included on Stellar. As you can see, sales are back-end loaded. More than 65% of sales happen within a week of the event taking place, and 37% happen in the 2 days before. It's also worth noting that only 3% happen 30 days or more before the event. But that's not the end of the story on early sales, as we'll see later. By comparison, of course, many in-person events show very strong sales when tickets first become available, even if it's months earlier. So if we had a sales curve for those events, we'd see a much greater proportion of sales occur in advance for in-person tickets. It's not complicated to understand this. The scarcity of good seats, or really any kind of seats, gives people a very straightforward reason to buy sooner than later. This, combined with well-known promotional strategies like pre-sales and partner emails, make an impact and take advantage of this natural reason to buy early. With online events, though, given unlimited capacity, that natural urgency doesn't exist. So if left alone, your sales curve with online events is destined to look something like this graph. Now let's look at this through a slightly different lens. We'll start with small events, which is 99 ticket buyers or fewer. This actually has even more of a late breaking pattern, with 46% buying in the last 2 days instead of just 37. But as we go up in size, the pattern begins to shift. Medium-sized events, 100 to 1,000 ticket buyers, only book 40% of buyers in those last 2 days. And as you can see here, large events only book 34%. More importantly, perhaps, the large events book a little more than 10% of sales more than 30 days before the show. Now, I don't have to graph to show you this, but I can tell you that for individual events, that 30 days plus number has gone even higher. Some have booked as much as 20% or more well in advance of the show, at that 30-day mark of the show. So what's the lesson or message here? Well, to a certain degree, partly it's just that online events are going to show a late breaking pattern. This is unfamiliar to many live entertainment producers, so it could be a little worrying. But once you understand it, you can plan for it. But there's more to know. First, I want to dispel the myth that because sales break late, marketing can wait until the last days before the event. This is not true, and it's a recipe for lackluster sales in the end. We recommend a 6 to 8 week window of sales because you need to plant the seeds that you'll harvest in that last week. If you don't plant them, they won't be there for you when it matters at the end. Think of it as a vegetable garden. If you don't plant it and cultivate it, it won't be there when it's time to harvest. We don't get upset when the corn's not ready in August, after all. Second, there are ways like early bird pricing or added limited premiums and VIP packages, partner campaigns, etc., to generate higher sales more than 30 days out, and you should do this if you can. The double benefit of it is that you'll have more money in the bank earlier and have more predictability in the course of the event. But perhaps more importantly than all that is that you'll be building awareness that you can cultivate and again, harvest as you get closer and closer to the date of the show. Going back to my garden metaphor, which is a little strained at this point, some plants, given the right fertilizer and sunlight, can sprout a little sooner, and that's important too. I hope this helps. Online events are here to stay, and they move to their own rhythm, like the seasons themselves. So if we at Stellar can be helpful in talking through your marketing plans for online events, let us know. I'm Jim McCarthy from Stellar. Thanks for watching.